Hey everybody, this is Tom, otherwise known as Scary Spikes, and welcome to another Star Citizen video. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the one and the only Anvil Valkyrie, the most badass dropship you have ever had the pleasure to fly. But before we get started, a very quick and special thank you to Comstar. Comstar is one of our newer community members. He's also a fellow Canadian, which is also pretty rad. And of course, he is one of our VIP Gold contributors. So Comstar, thank you so much for your generosity in the stream, for hanging out with us all the time in the Discord, and just for being an overall nice guy. I appreciate you being here and appreciate all your support. And thank you very much for being a VIP Gold contributor. If you'd like to join us on stream, we have a whole bunch of fun Wednesdays and Fridays over on Twitch at 8 p.m. Eastern, as well as in our awesome Discord community. We have so many people waiting to meet, play, and chat with you, and you can find links for those in the description below. By the way, we've got some new merch if you haven't heard as well. So we have a bunch of new jerseys, including the Spike Squad jersey and a bunch of cups and all sorts of different things. Make sure to go ahead and check that out. I'll link that in the comments below, and at least just let me know what you think. I've been working really hard on a new design, and I hope that you guys enjoy it. Of course, sspgaming.com is still around for all of my homemade stuff, but I've been getting a lot of different requests from people wanting bigger sizes, different colors, and so this is the only way that I could figure out how to do it quickly and still keep the quality very high. So make sure to go check it out. Link will be in the comment below and also in the description. Let me know what you think. Alright guys, sorry for the extra long intro. Let's go ahead and get into this video. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so as I said before, we're going to be looking at the Anvil Valkyrie. If you guys don't know, this is Anvil's premier dropship. This thing is absolutely awesome. It's got friggin' guns all over the place, got a big dropship ramp in the back there. It's got tons of capacity for a bunch of people on the inside, a bunch of turrets, both manned and remote, door guns, side doors, VTOL thrusters. Baby, this thing has got it all. But before we go inside and have a look, let's just take a look on the outside of the ship here and see what it looks like. This is one of two Valkyries that I own. It is the one that I own in the game, and this one in particular is going to be stock, so you guys will be able to see what it looks like as soon as you pick it up. Of course, you can buy it for about 4.5 mil Alpha UEC here at Area 18. That's where we're currently at. And man, does this thing look absolutely cool. It's so cool looking, man. It's got these huge vents on the very front of it. It's got a nice, very easy to see through cockpit there up in the front. Of course, we've got these gigantic VTOL thrusters, and if you've got your default keybinds, you can cycle these by pressing K. We've also got some nice doors there, as you can see on the side of the ship, which is really cool. We'll have a look at those a little bit later. And again, two VTOL thrusters on either side. These, of course, double as main thrusters once you've turned off VTOL mode. We've got some wings around the side of it for stability, and it's got a nice tail wing here in the back as well. And of course, we've got a ramp. This thing is chock full of features, so let's go ahead and go inside. There's not too much to see outside here, so let's just not waste any time. We'll go ahead and open up the ramp and take a look inside. Now, it is a little dark here. I do apologize for that, but hopefully we'll be able to see there is some lighting on the inside here. Now, despite the fact that this ship has only 30 SCU on its cargo grid, which is right in the middle here, it does have tons of space. You can fit about, let me see, about 11 or so PTVs in here, and don't ask me how I know the exact number of PTVs. There may have been a stream in the past where we where we actually tried that, but you can definitely fit several Cyclones, a bunch of PTVs, even a tank in here. I'm not sure if it would actually fit vertically because I know the tank is really quite high, but you can definitely fit a good number of vehicles in here. You can fit an Ursa rover and some Cyclones or whatever floats your boat in here, and you've got tons of space. And then you've got this nice little balcony up here as well, so if you've got a vehicle that is short enough and you don't need, you know, emergency access to the side doors here, which by the way you can open just by clicking on them, and how cool is that? Then you can of course, you know, park some of the smaller vehicles like the PTVs that we did on one of our previous streams, just right here in front of the doors. Or you can reduce the amount of vehicles that you carry and keep this area under the balcony here clear so that your folks, your troops can have easy access. And of course, we've got the guns here on the inside as well. These are size 1 yellow jackets. You got one on this side and one on this side as well. So those are really cool. And of course, we've also got a bunch of other features that we want to have a look at. There's some not really sure what's going on here. Hopefully they are going to maybe put like some some kind of weapon racks or something over here at some point in the future. That would be really cool if that's what they did, because that would seem like a great place to have weapon racks. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. But the reason why I say they should have weapon racks there is because check this out. Oh yeah, baby, you got about 10 seats in here, 5 on either side. Same exact on the other side as well. So this thing is a troop carrier and a vehicle carrier as well. It is a dropship after all. And then of course we have a rear turret in the back. This is one of the 2 manned turrets on the inside. I believe this thing has a pair of size 3 weapons, which you can customize, and we'll get into that a little bit later on in the video. There are timestamps, by the way, guys. If you want to skip ahead to a part that's more meaningful for you, feel free to go ahead and just skim over the bar at the bottom of the video there, or you can also check out the description, and there are time codes there for your convenience. But we've got a nice little seat over here for a gunner that's going to be popping out the bottom of the ship. If we come out this side here, we can see that we have yet another 10 jump seats, which is amazing. There's plenty of space back here. Lots of space for your friends, your compatriots to have a seat and be comfortable as they're being transported around. And of course, these amazing side doors here for when they're ready to hit the floor and get into the action. Now, back here in the central area, right under the main balcony here, we've got this nice little ladder that leads up to the next level of the ship. And this is really taken up just by sort of the front half of the ship, but this is sort of like an integrated living quarters here. So you've got 2 beds here. These are bunk beds, which are really nice and spacious, and they actually look really comfortable for what's classed as basically an industrial military ship, which this is. We've got some nice lookouts down here, so this could be a great place for some of your men to be very quick access to from their bunks on either side, just to protect the ship, just in case there's any boarding action going on, which is really, really nice. Then we've got the second man turret. This one goes all the way up to the top of the ship. Of course, that is going to be another pair of size 3 weapons in there. And then there's our radar here. If we go to the left-hand side of the port side of the ship, we can see that we have a door here with a very, very well ventilated and spaced washroom. Shower combo. You've got a sink in here as well. Lots of space for toiletries and people to move around in. And we've got another bunk over here. So we've got a total of 5 bunks, which is really quite nice. And of course, we also have like a little galley here, just in case you get a little thirsty, you want to fix yourself a little food on those longer trips. And then if we move towards the front of the ship here on either the port side both the port side and the starboard side, we have a couple of seats, and these are for the remote turrets. And there's Gatling guns all over the ship, guys. We have the yellow jackets, as I said, down on the sides of the doors. These ones, I believe, are another pair of size 3 Gatling guns. You've got 1 per remote turret. All right, and then if we go in the front here, this is going to be basically the cockpit door. Now, this is a little weird. It seems like we have like an authentication panel here and 1 here. I don't understand why there's the pair of them here. Maybe one is supposed to be a redundancy for the other. I don't know. It just kind of seems a little bit weird, but that's just a personal nitpick. I do love how these doors open up, by the way. And this is just really weird. I don't know why there's one on the inside. I guess maybe just as an override or something like that. And then we've got another one on this side of the door, which is actually really cool. If you press it, it actually kind of goes into the door, and then it comes back out when you close the door. And of course, you saw that door animation with the little teeth in between. So I really like the detail in this ship. And check out this cockpit, guys. This looks absolutely stunning. Let's go ahead and have a seat so you guys can have a look at what the cockpit entails. And as with most Anvil ships, honestly, it's really, really good. That's the short end of it. Let's go ahead and power this up and take off, and then we'll have a look at actually outfitting the ship later on. But we've been in here for a little while, but we want to make sure that we can take off before they store the ship, because that's happened already once before in the recording of this video. But as we're waiting for the door to be opened up there, it should be at the top, if I'm not mistaken, or is it going to be the front? That's going to be the top. Okay. So, while that's opening up for us, we can go ahead and have a look around now. If you've flown other ships, including like the Terrapin, which is very, very similar to this in the front, you'll notice that there's definitely a lot of similarities. So we've got, of course, a nice open space for us. Lots of space here for us to stretch our legs. We've got 2 MFDs on the left, 2 on the right, which are both a little smaller. Then our 2 main MFDs in the front. That's 6 MFDs in total. And then, of course, we've also got that nice annunciator panel right in the middle, as well as our radar right in the middle above that. And then we've got our HUD. Now, guys, the HUD is going to be changing in 3.14. If you don't know, if you haven't played the open public open PTU. You can go ahead and check that out, although I feel like we're going to be getting 314 dropping, according to CIG, at some point this week. Let's go ahead and switch our view. And there we go. Press K and off we go. Pretty awesome, man. I really love this ship. It's super versatile. It looks absolutely awesome, and I would very much recommend to you guys, if you have not done so already and you do happen to be lucky enough to own a Valkyrie, especially for a pledge, I would recommend going to get yourself one of the gray paints. Of course, the Splinter livery looks also really nice, but the gray paint looks absolutely awesome because it's like a light gray and it's almost like white, so it looks really cool. And this thing is a chunky boy. It's a thick boy with 3 C's. Of course, we've got that turret on the very top. It's very well mounted, actually. It was a very nice turret, unlike on the Andromeda, for example, where the turrets are located sort of towards the middle of the front of the ship, excuse me. These ones are located a little bit closer to the middle of the ship. That gives you a little bit better access and maneuverability with the turret. Of course, we've got the turret popping out the bottom there as well. And that one is actually a little bit closer towards the back, as you guys can see there. But then we've got the top turrets right in the middle. So really quite nice. The guns that you can see on the sides here, those are the remote guns that you have there. And then, of course, we also have a pair of size 2 guns for the pilot, which is amazing. So we have well over 3,000 DPS on this bad boy. And you can only imagine taking over an outpost with 20 people. Then you've got yourself a pair of size 2 guns on the front, a pair of size 3 guns on the side, and a pair of size 3 guns on each of the turrets. So that's going to be 1 for the pilot. It's going to make 3 for your side gunners. For the remote turrets, it's going to make 5 for the manned guns. So that's explaining the bunks that we have. We have 5 bunks in the ship. And then, of course, we've also got another 20 people. So you've got 25 people that you can have on this ship, and you can cause all sorts of damage. Now, one thing that I should note as well is that all of the guns on the ship by default are ballistic weapons. So it depends on which kind of targets you're going up against. And from what I've seen in 3.14, there is a much higher emphasis on up close and CQB type combat scenarios whenever you get into fights with other ships. The ranges of some of the guns have definitely been decreased, and especially for ballistic weapons, but their DPS has definitely been increased. So there's definitely more of a focus. Now, I wish that CIG didn't do this. I wish that we still had a choice, and that maybe that roles of different types of aircraft were based on the types of aircraft that they were. So, for example, CQB would be smaller and medium fighters, and then larger gunships like, for example, the Redeemer that's coming later this year, or the Constellation Andromeda would be able to help support smaller fleets from a further distance away with their size 4 guns like they were able to in 3.13. But nonetheless, I'm just dragging along a little bit here. This is the exterior view, as we can see. Absolutely gorgeous. You can get this thing fully kitted out, and you don't have to be doing any kind of ground operations. You can basically be doing sort of, you know, just bounty hunting, and you've got tons and tons of firepower on here, and it's only going to get better in 3.14. So let's go ahead and pop back out of the captain's seat here, and we're going to go ahead and look on the outfitting page here and have a look at what we can replace all of this with. Now, to be honest, out of the box, I would say the ship is very well equipped, and once we've got it powered on and moving, all the lights are on and everything looks really cool. And I do have to say that the interior damage model of this ship also looks phenomenal, and that is paired with the exterior damage model as well. When this thing takes damage and it's at critical mass, oh my god, your heart starts to pound. You start to see smoke and red lights and strobing lights and all sorts of things. It just looks absolutely amazing. What's really cool is that you can actually also do drops with this ship. Of course, it is a drop ship, so if you have vehicles in here, you can drop them off, especially in low gravity orbit, and it just looks awesome. And if you're doing operations with your org, it's honestly a really fun ship to have, and I would very highly recommend your organization to have at least one. And if you like drop ships, you should have one in your personal fleet as well. Anyway, I digress. Let's go ahead and jump into the outfitting of the ship here. And of course, if you have any of your own suggestions on how to outfit your ship, make sure that you drop those in the comments section below. If you want to check out the default loadout of the ship as well as how I'm going to change it up, make sure to go ahead and check out the Urkel links, which I'm going to post up in the description down below. All right, let's go check out the outfitting. Alrighty, folks, so we are in the Vehicle Loadout Manager here. We're going to be having a look at our Valkyrie. This is the same Valkyrie that we were in before, and this is bone stock. So we're going to be upgrading this a little bit, making it just a little bit better. And a very important note for all of you who are playing around this time, you know, this is a very crucial time in Star Citizen's history because we are approaching yet another major patch, which is going to be 3.14, and that patch is going to be fundamentally changing a lot of things. Now, one of the things that it's going to be changing is that ballistics will be having a DPS boost, basically, but they will be having a dramatic reduction in ammo capacity. So, because of the fact that there has definitely been a dramatic push towards CQB type combat, which honestly is not something that I'm a big fan of. I do like fighting in my Andromeda, for instance, which I do enjoy having that extra range with my size 4 weapons. Anyway, I digress. Because CIG seems to be pushing to a more close quarters combat sort of scenario where, you know, things are going to be doing more damage, have shorter range and less ammo, then I think that this ship is actually pretty decent out of the box. But let's go ahead and explore. If you have any of your own ideas or builds for the Valkyrie, make sure that you link those down below. And of course, as I said previously, I am going to also put a stock build as well as my own personal build, which may vary from yours, and that's okay, in the description below. So make sure to go check those out. If you have any questions, feel free to drop by our Discord and we'll do our best to help you out. Okay, enough of that business. Let's go ahead and get into this. And the first thing we're going to be looking at is the quantum drive. So the quantum drive is important because, of course, this is a dropship. The primary purpose of this is to be an armed transport to move your troops, your vehicles, and other assets around and deploy them where they need to be. So for that reason, you need to be going there quickly and efficiently. And of course, you don't want to be using the stock drive that came with it because as decent as the Odyssey is, there's definitely better choices. Okay, so I'm gonna have a few choices here for you, and the first one is gonna be the Spicule, and you're probably wondering, how in the hell are you gonna build a stealth Valkyrie? And the answer to that question is not at all. The reason why we're picking the Spicule is because the Spicule, like other grade A stealth components, at least for the quantum drive side of things, are the fastest accelerating in a short distance from all of the other options available. What this means for you is that if you are staying within a certain subsystem, for example, if you're staying within Crusader or ArcCorp or Hurston or Microtech or whatever, if you're moving between the moons or different planets in that particular body, in that subsystem, you are going to be moving from one to the next as fast as humanly possible because the grade A stealth components here, the quantum drives, have the fastest short-range acceleration of all the drives. Now, this is, again, based on 3.13 data. We may see a change in 3.14, and if that is the case, I'll make sure to go ahead and update the description, and do let me know if you've heard about any of that. But from my experience, at least in 3.13, that is the case. So if you are staying within a subsystem and you're not really moving around, you're just doing sort of within the subsystem travel, then the Spicule honestly is going to be your best bet. Now, if you're the opposite of that, and if you want to just get there, you don't care about the cost of fuel, you've got a big organization, everything is paid for, and it's all good, you just need to get from one end of the system to the other. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta get from Hurston to Microtech or even further than that. So if you want the best acceleration and the best overall speed for long distances, then you want the XL1. It's basically the same thing as the Spicule. It's got the best speed for longer ranges because as it has more time to spool up, it gets faster and faster, ultimately over a longer distance, beating out the Spicule in terms of overall speed. Now, this will drink your fuel like it's freaking Kool-Aid at a cult party, so you want to make sure that that is not going to be an issue for you. But that being said, the XL1 is overall the best, and for me, it's my personal choice. Now, if you want something that's a little bit of, you know, both worlds, if you want something that's you know, decent, really decent on fuel, it's not going to be the fastest, but it'll get you there, and it'll get you there relatively quickly, then the Crossfield is honestly your best option. It's nothing special, but it's a very well-balanced quantum drive. It's reasonably quick. It's not the fastest one, obviously, and the acceleration is just okay, but it's very good on fuel, and I think just for overall, just booting around, and especially if you don't really have a plan on whether you're going to be doing long-range or short-range travel, then the Crossfield is definitely one that I would recommend. If you don't have the money to upgrade at all, the Odyssey is still decent. It's okay. And there's definitely other things that I would upgrade on here, like the power plant and the shields first. But if you do have the money, definitely spring for either the Spicule or the XL1 if either of those are niche for you, or just get the Crossfield if you want a little bit of good from both ends of the stick. Alright, just go ahead and click on save. And if you haven't seen my previous videos, you just want to make sure that that little exclamation mark in the orange triangle there goes away before you navigate away from this menu. Otherwise, it will not save. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move on now, and we have 2 coolers on this thing. We have 2 power plants and 2 shields, and we're going to keep this one fairly simple. So for the shields, or rather the coolers, we're going to go with an Avalanche. The Avalanche are pretty good. They are military class, and I'm not just picking them because they are military class, because if I had a choice and money was not an issue at all, I would go with the snowpacks. And as you can see, I don't have any available right now. I do have 2. They're on a different ship at the moment, and I do believe that they're actually on my main Valkyrie. But the snowpacks are the best. These are the industrial ones, and they provide you the best cooling possible, the highest cooling per second, and a pretty good response rate there. But unfortunately, I don't have any available, so we're going to go with the Avalanches, which are just fine. They are absolutely fine. For most use cases, they're just perfect. If and when cooling becomes sort of redone in the game, it becomes a little bit more important because it doesn't seem to play as much of a role these days as it probably should, then I feel like this would be more of a crucial choice. But in this case, for most use cases, I think the Avalanche would be more than good enough for most people. Now, if we move on, we're on the power plant here, and as if you guys have ever watched even a single video from any of my ship videos in the past, you'll know by now that there's only one that I'm going to be looking at, and that's going to be the JS400. Now, unfortunately, I only have one of these available, but I may actually just strip one off of one of my other ships. And there we go, we've got one on the Constellation Phoenix. I don't plan on flying that, so I'm just going to go ahead and strip that off the Phoenix and put it on this one. There we go, that just updated. Little bit of lag there. The JS series are honestly some of the best power plants you can get your hands on. They provide you an ample amount of power. Now, it's not the most in the game, but just the overall performance of this power plant is absolutely superb. And again, these things may change in 3.14. If you do notice a change, or even if you have a better recommendation, feel free to let us know in the comments. But this is just what I use for my use case scenarios for the way that I like to fly my ships, and I feel like it's more than sufficient enough. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the shields now. And again, the shields are pretty standard in this case, and we have a size 2 offering here for both the shields on the ship. So I like to usually go with an FR76. Now, a lot of people have told me in the comments in the past that 2 FR76s are actually best. In my personal recommendation, or my personal experience, I found that having a Rampart and an FR76 is nice because you get the benefit of both worlds. You get the FR76 with the really fast regen rate, and you get the Rampart that adds a little bit extra into your shield pool at the cost of that recharge rate. So having both of those is definitely great. If you're going to be in short-term engagements, and you're going to be in hit-and-run engagements or short-term engagements, then having a pair of FR76s is definitely better, because your shields, after taking some damage, will recharge much faster, and so it'll kind of negate the need for having a higher shield pool. But if you're going to be fighting larger ships, or you're going to be, on grid a little bit longer than you would like, then I feel like having the Rampart is definitely going to help, because you're going to have still the benefit of having at least one FR76 with that nice fast regen time. Then you're going to have the benefit of the Rampart's extra shield pool to help you sort of absorb a few more hits before you can get out of there. So, in my opinion, I'd have one of each, but again, it could be different based on how you play, how you fly, who you fly with, and where you go. There's definitely a lot of variables there. We're going to go ahead and save that and move on to the weaponry. Now, with the weaponry, honestly, I wouldn't really change too much here. The weapons that are on the ship by default are actually pretty decent. With regards to the Mantis is definitely really good. The Scorpion, however, let's see if we can actually find something better. Now, before 3.14, I would recommend to actually go to the laser repeaters, like for example the CF227 Badger for size 2s, the CF337 Panther for size 3s, but honestly, I really don't like what CIG's done with the laser repeaters in 3.14. Let me know if you agree. I just think it's a little silly to put charges on laser weapons. There shouldn't be any charges, there shouldn't be any type of ammo. I liked the whole overheat mechanic and having to balance your ship systems and to mitigate that. And now it's just it's just not right. And with the way that they're pushing CQB instead of long-range combat, and how they're pushing, you know, the damage up on the ballistic weapons and reducing their range, I feel with all those variables that leaving these weapons as default is actually a pretty good way to go. Of course, you can change them to something that you like or something that you feel is best. In my opinion, though, I feel like the Scorpions, the Yellow Jackets, and the Mantises are actually really good. There's really nothing wrong with them. They do plenty of damage, and in 314, they're gonna do even more. The only difference is that now, in 313, before 314 drops, they are going to have a little bit more range. From what I've read in some of the patch notes and stuff coming out, is that the ballistics will suffer a little bit of a range reduction, as well as a dramatic reduction in ammo, but they're also going to get a significant boost in their damage or DPS capacity. So at the moment in 313, according to Urkel, what we have is about 3,300 DPS. I'm very curious to see how that will change moving into the future. But of course, if you are very limited with ammo, you will have to consider other ways to deal with threats. So for example, flying with a small fleet, or maybe just changing these out for some laser weapons so at least you have some backups. For the time being though, given that 314 is on the horizon, all of the stuff actually looks just fine, and I like the way that it is stock. Of course, you can also change it to fit your particular playstyle, and let me know in the comments if you decide to do that and what you decide to go with. Let's finally go ahead and move on to the paints, and this is the pièce de résistance. This is what I was talking about at the beginning of the video, and look at this. This is absolutely gorgeous. It is the Panda Dropship. I love this thing. It looks absolutely awesome. Now, it's not completely white. It's got this sort of slightly off-white, sort of light gray look, but that and the black accents just look absolutely stunning. This thing is gorgeous. It's got tons of weapons. It's got the looks. And baby, it's one of my favorite ships in the game. Let me know how you outfit your ship down below, and of course, if you have any comments, suggestions, questions, or anything like that, and also, of course, just feel free to join our Discord community. We have an awesome Discord community, guys. The links will be found in the description below. We have an amazing family there, and I call it a family because everybody is super awesome, sincere, honest, and just really, really friendly and helpful. So if you guys want to join our little family on Discord, link is going to be down below. Of course, you can also join us on stream Wednesdays and Fridays. We have a ton of fun, and we are streaming more now just than Star Citizen. For example, we were streaming New World and stuff like that when that was in closed beta, and a few other games. But feel free to join us on stream. We always have a great time, and we've actually changed the stream layout and the rewards and stuff like that. It's a lot more interactive. It's a lot more rewarding. We'd love to see you there. Links for those are going to be down in the description. And of course, it's 8 p.m. Eastern, Wednesdays and Fridays for the stream there. Also, guys, feel free to check out the new merch. I'm going to link that down below. I know I've already plugged that, but I'm really excited, and I'm going to be working on getting more stuff for you guys. If you have any questions, concerns, or suggestions on what you'd like to see, please let me know, and we will try to make that happen for you. And then, of course, the most important thing, guys, and this helps me out so very, very much. If you found this video enjoyable, entertaining, helpful in any way, please feel free to let me know by leaving a like, subscribing if you're new, and ringing that bell so that you don't miss videos in the future, as I do publish videos once a week. With that being said, guys, hand on heart, I really appreciate y'all spending your time with me today, and I hope that you all have a wonderful week. We'll see you next week on Tuesday if you are a VIP, and on Wednesday if you're not, and hope to see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.